I have drawn out of my bag of toys a little tortoise here. So the first thing I want to do is look at this guy and pay attention to the shapes. I'm not going to start worrying about how to draw it. The first thing I want to do is start identifying some shapes. Let me use something else to point with. All right, how about this transformer sword? Okay. All right. Obviously, his shell is round, and I want to decide how I want to draw him. I'm probably going to draw him from the side here. But his shell is round, but it's actually kind of a half oval. His head is oval shaped. He has some circular patterns on his shell. So I can already see that I'm going to be drawing ovals, oval, rectangle, rectangle, rectangle. Those are very obvious. And maybe a little triangle there for his little teeny tiny tail. So I'm going to get my marker out. Now remember, you're going to be drawing probably with a pencil. I'm drawing with a marker so that you can see it really well, but I'm going to encourage you to draw with a pencil and draw very lightly first. You draw lightly first because you can erase those lines easily, and because when you're close to being done, you can go find the good lines that you like and follow those and make them darker to make your picture stand out a little bit more. All right, so I'm going to look at my turtle, and I'm going to start sketching. And I think I'm going to start with the most obvious shape first, which is his shell. I'm being very loose, I'm not being hard. And that looks, if I drew an imaginary line here, okay, just draw it here, looks like a half oval. Okay, so I have my turtle shell. But if I look, my turtle shell doesn't go straight across, and it doesn't kind of go like this underneath. There's actually a wavy line. We have an upswing for the back leg, comes down, and then it goes up for the front leg and his head. And you can connect that line right there if you would like. Next, I'm going to work on his feet. I think I'm going to start with his front leg first. So I'm going to start with his knee, bring it down for a rectangular shape to his foot. When I say a rectangular shape from the knee, there's the joint, and I come down and I bring it down for a foot. Okay, so my turtle's foot, that's going to be the upper part of the leg to the knee down to the foot. And then we would do our little nails, right? Okay, so we have our upper part to the knee, down to the foot, and we'll make our little toes, little bitty toes. Now I want to draw my head, and I think what I'm going to do is bring it out here, and it's an oval shape. And I'm drawing lightly so that I can go back and find the lines that I like. Then I'm going to draw it's kind of like a rectangle, but it's a droopy rectangle, okay? So we're going to follow the lines from the joint there and go up to the oval of his head at the bottom, up in the middle of this shape for the opening of the shell. We'll start there and go to the head shape there. Now I want to draw this other foot. I don't know if you can see how well you can see it right now, but I want to make it three-dimensional, so I want to come over here, draw his other foot. Now I'm not going to draw it all the way down here to the same, that it's on the same plane. I want to draw it just a little bit shy of that. Now I'm going to give him nails. I'm going to go ahead and draw out some of his mouth, but I'm going to give him a little oval for his eye. Draw his little mouth. And now I'm going to give him a little mouth, his little beak. And look, that's an S curve. We have his eye. Below the eye, we have our S curve, the S shape. Now I'm going to come back here, and get this other leg. Start with the knee. Going to make a curved shape, bent rectangle for the foot, and I want to make it so that it's even with this one, but not flat. I want to give it just a little bit of a curve. Look, there's another S shape, S curve. See it right there? Then I want to give him some toenails. Now, tortoises' shells are kind of flat on the bottom. They don't have a big curve, but they do have a subtle curve. So I'm going to come in here and draw it almost flat, but not quite. And then what I'll do is I'll round that out a little bit, leave myself a little gap, and give this little guy a tail. All right, let's start adding some details. So we have this big circular shape here, drawing it loose. Have another one here, another one back here. He has one here. He has one here. Here. Almost like a puzzle piece these guys have. All right, and if you notice, the front of their shells, while most of the shell is composed of almost circular plates, hexagonal, pentagonal plates, the front has plates that look like rectangles, rounded rectangles. Okay, so we're going to start here, round out some rectangles. Okay. Find some of those nice lines that I like. And these are circles, but they fan out a little bit. And you're going to have to kind of play with those a little bit with your pencil lines to see what you like. And his shell is not perfectly round. He has bumps. There's a tortoise. So we have one here, and one here, and one here. Okay? Connect those, make a bump, bump, there we go. Bump, 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 bump. Not big bumps, little bump. And then I want to add some circular line details. Now yours will look nicer than this because I'm using a marker. All these lines would be very light. Okay, and then I want to give an indication of where the bottom shell connects to the big shell. So I might draw myself a little line here. And I can see, it's probably hard for you to see, but underneath his belly, you can see the elements of his shell where they hit the neck. Then I got to draw that back foot. Now on this guy, his back foot is actually further back, but I don't know really how well that would look on here, so I'm just going to kind of give an indication of a foot on the other side. All right, now I want to start finding these lines and connecting, following the lines, finding the good lines. This is where you would get your, use your pencil and draw harder. So I'm going to start at the beak, find my good line and connect it. He has a little nose here, kind of forgot that part. Give him a little cheek, make him a little happy turtle. There's his cheek, and then out to an S curve, just right there. Now I'm going to find his legs. I've done all the hard work. Now I'm just almost connecting the dots, finding those good lines, following them out. This is where you press a little bit harder on your pencil. And I want to make a more solid line for his shell. I've already done that with my marker, so I can't do too much more without it just dominating the picture. All right, now I want to add a few more details before we get done. He's got tiny little bumps on his head, so I'm just going to give him a couple little indications of bumps. Okay, and give him an indication of a little beak. His neck kind of outstretches, so I'll do a couple lines here, maybe some cross lines. Now, his feet have, they're not just lines, they're scales, right? Because he's a reptile. I'm not gonna do the entire thing in scales. If you want to do that, that's fine to practice. But if you're just doing a quick sketch like I am, I'm just going to do some indications of scales, because you don't have to do the whole thing. You just give indications of it. And come back here. Oh yeah, I forgot to come back here and find the lines of his big shell. There's my tortoise. Now I want to see if I want to do anything else with him. That's not bad. All right, so what I would do with your pencil is I would just come back in here and kind of match up some of those lines, because shells on turtles, they kind of link together like a puzzle. So all these individual pieces meet up. Starting to look like a bee honeycomb. But all these pieces will meet up. And you don't have to do dark lines, but you just need to do some lines to show that they do meet up. I love turtles, by the way. There's my turtle. Sign it and done. Tortoise.
Remember to like and subscribe to this channel. Also, consider supporting this project on Patreon.